I'm going to tell you about an adventure, but not any adventure. This is my adventure, and that's why it's so special. There are many roads in the world you can travel, but the road I'm going to tell you about is like no other. People call it El Espinazo del Diablo, or the Devil's Backbone. And it is a road that runs from the city of Durango, Mexico to the city of Mazatlán, which is a very popular tourist spot. It stretches for more than 300 kilometers, and it's considered one of the most scenic roads in the world, where you can experience all kinds of climates and landscapes. Cyclists consider this road the crown jewel for the perfect 2-day weekend adventure of a lifetime. I personally have ridden this road 29 times, and I'm not planning to stop. In fact, my goal is to ride it 100 more times, or maybe more. The journey is 320 kilometers long, and it usually takes 2 days to complete. It starts at an altitude of 1,800 meters above sea level and ends up to a 5-meter sea level altitude in the port of Mazatlán. This time, I will follow a group of 2 cycling teams, one that is conformed of mostly experienced cyclists and the other is newly formed team, where for most of its members will be the first time doing this adventure. In order to make this journey, it is necessary to be well trained, and it usually takes at least 2 months for an experienced cyclist to train and up to 6 months for a beginner. The training distances vary from 50 kilometers on the first few weeks up to 200 kilometers in some cases. It all depends on each person's goals. This is the pedal bikers team, and they're making the trip to Mazatlán for the very first time.
Mira, pues ya estamos a punto de salir, los muchachos todos hemos estado trabajando para hacer lo mejor posible. Ahorita hicimos lo que vamos a hacer, el evento de bendición de bicis y de cascos, tuvimos la entrega de jersey, también tuvimos por ahí una rifa sorpresa, entonces ahorita estamos a punto de entrar a misa, pero ya prácticamente el viernes temprano, primeramente Dios, salimos para Mazatlán.
Bien, aquí andamos en la entrega de jerseys, la bendición de bicicletas y cascos de pedal bikers, ya listos para la ruta Durango-Mazatlán. Es la primera que hacemos como grupo, es la primera también que voy a hacer con ellos. Pues estoy bien emocionada y a ver qué tal nos va en esta ruta. Ya he hecho otras rutas un poquillo largas, pero es la primera ruta de Durango-Mazatlán y pues es la madre de todas aquí. Está genial. Gracias.
Creo que ha sido parte de la motivación personal para seguir fortaleciendo, compartir con mis compañeros, aprender de todos y disfrutar de lo más bello que es la naturaleza para conectarme con ellos.
Una ruta del grupo Pedal Biker 2020 y de muchos compañeros que están aquí, la mayoría son nuevos, es la primera ruta que van para Mazatlán, entonces primeramente esto nos va a ir muy bien. Vamos 45 ciclistas en todo lo que es para la ruta. Mira, del nivel de principiantes van aproximadamente 10 personas, nivel de intermedios van 26, más o menos 27, y nivel de avanzados aproximadamente como unas 10 personas.
Es algo personal, ¿verdad? Un esfuerzo personal para salir en esta ruta. Antes, como es la primera vez, hasta allá no he llegado. A ver cómo nos va. La expectativa, pues, terminarla desde el inicio hasta el final. Estará muy fuerte la ruta.
Haber escuchado de esta ruta, pues lo motiva a uno más a hacerlo con los entrenamientos. Creo que sí.
Más que nada disfrutar, convivir con los compañeros y yo creo que todos vamos con retos personales a sacar muchas cosas también emocionales.
Tonight, they're celebrating the blessing of their bikes and their helmets. And as good Catholics, they will ask God to help them on their journey. 5:30 a.m. And even though this is my 29th time doing this, I'm still a little bit nervous, and I'm sure everyone else is too.
Ya en un momentito más nos arrancamos, a punto de arrancar. Si el principiante cuidado, porque ahorita no podemos confiarnos de todos modos. O sea, ya la conocemos la carretera de un tramo, pero de todos modos hay que seguir las indicaciones que hemos estado comentando, por favor. Bendice y cuida a cada uno de nosotros. Extiende tu mano.
It will be dark for the next 2 hours. Therefore, front and rear lights are absolutely necessary. This challenge has begun not today, but when each cyclist decided to accept it as part of their weekly routine, as hundreds of hours of training had to be invested for this particular day. Our first goal is to climb the first 20 kilometers or so to get to Rio Chico, where we will do a fast descent of 5 kilometers only to encounter more steep roads ahead. This climb is the first of many more to come. The sunrise is visible at the distance, showing its beautiful colors at the horizon. We are so privileged to be able to witness this miracle as we move farther away from the city lights. I try to maintain the same rhythm as my colleagues, and with every passing pedal, it gets harder and harder due to the weight of my panniers full of filming equipment and all my necessities. Luckily, we make our first stop in the town of El Pino.
Ruta Mazatlán, y apenas prácticamente un año pedaleando y la verdad es que no, ¿nunca habías pedaleado antes? No, tengo apenas, soy nuevo, voy a cumplir un año apenas.
After this, we descend to Rio Chico, but the excitement doesn't last for very long as we hit our first real climb. After many times traveling this road, it still amazes me to see all the beautiful granite banks, the amazing color palettes on the sky, complemented by the green mantle just below it. It's as if an artist had painted a beautiful landscape and I am part of it. This highway is one of the most famous mountain roads in Mexico. Located between Mazatlán on the west coast of mainland Mexico and Durango, which lies east of the Sierra Madre Mountains, this road is known by locals and internationally for its hairpins and zigzag turns. The road lies almost entirely over 2,000 meters above sea level. The dominant plants bear across the range, and the habitat that they present varies from scattered woodland to both deciduous of whiteleaf and coniferous forest like pine trees. We're getting closer to El Madroño, where we will have breakfast. I'm finding out the hard way that this group really did his homework and have been pedaling non-stop since Rio Chico. The elevation in the range are the major determining factors in the dominant plants. Oaks dominate the lower reaches of the mountains, and in the western slope of the range, cloud forest also occurs, mostly on mild elevation slopes with little exposure to wind and sun. After crossing Coyotes, we got 20 more kilometers to go to get to El Salto, Pueblo Nuevo, Durango. El Salto is a town and seat of the municipality of Pueblo Nuevo in the southwest part of Durango. As of 2015, the town had a total population of more than 24,000. The town is home to a large lumber industry, and it also has a military base. The surrounding municipality has a population of more than 50,000. We're getting closer and closer to our main goal today, which is getting to Mexiquillo, where we will spend the night. I found a little friend on my way to Las Adjuntas. He followed me for about 10 kilometers. Then, when we got closer to the town, I lost him out of sight. We get to Las Adjuntas, which is where the old and the new highway meet. There's only 35 more kilometers to go. Plants in the area typically have large responses to the changing climate with each season. Monsoon season is the largest of these effects, with leaf buds following only a few months after the rains begin. After 145 kilometers, we finally arrived to Mexiquillo. Mexiquillo is a natural park over the Sierra Madre. It is the most visited park in the state of Durango and one of the most attractive. The park has an extension of more than 13,000 hectares, of which 152 hectares are virgin forest as an ecological reserve. A great deal of eco-activities such as camping, hiking, mountain cycling, and even climbing can be practiced by visitors. The park has also a lodging service throughout the area.
Luis Cázares, mejor conocido como el Güero.
¿Tú eres de los correcaminos?
De Correcaminos, sí. Del grupito de principiantes.
¿Cuántas rutas con esta?
6.
En el grupo de principiantes.
¿Qué tal?
Muy bien, con todo lo que hemos trabajado durante el año y el resultado que hemos tenido que aquí estamos, todos con bien afortunadamente, y lo hemos disfrutado.
El encanto de la montaña. Aquí por ahí logramos conseguir toda esta sección para todo el equipo. Estamos en este solo lugar y de alguna manera nos gustó mucho lo que está desde el estacionamiento, el área de comedor y todo. Y todas las personas están muy contentas porque les gustaron mucho las cabañas.
Eso es muy agradable. ¿Y cómo te fue en el trayecto?
Bien, afortunadamente el clima fue muy favorable. Estuvo nubladito y una pequeña lluviecita, pero sí, la verdad, sí fue muy bueno y eso ayudó bastante.
¿Y los compañeros qué tal? ¿Cómo le fue al equipo?
En general todos bien, sí, algunos que otros sí se subió a la barredora por lo normal, pero también el clima a ellos les ayudó bastante, vienen muy contentos y listos para el día de mañana.
Sí, les tocó un buen clima, ¿verdad?
Es correcto, sí.
Muy bien. Muchas gracias y suerte, Leo.
Y te agradezco que estemos al pendiente, gracias.
Nature is perfect in every single way. And it's amazing to be part of this amazing ecosystem that it's almost uninterrupted. We have learned to grow strength from nature, both collectively and individually, and we must realize that she needs our help. It's 5 o'clock in the morning, and I have only slept about 4 hours. Looks like I'm the first one up, and slowly, cyclists start showing up for the first wave that will head out towards El Espinazo del Diablo Mirador. Our bodies still sore from yesterday's journey. We gather to make a prayer before departure. It's pitch black and the temperature is about 40 degrees Fahrenheit. And we have to ride 50 kilometers before the first stop. It takes about 15 minutes for the body to warm up, so the first kilometers will be a little bit difficult. Hit the first climbs and the body immediately starts to sweat, and we all start breathing very fast. We can hear the sound of waterfalls beside us, though we can't see them. And then after 2 hours, we arrive to El Espinazo del Diablo. I will wait here until the last team arrives. From here, we'll have to ride 35 kilometers up hills and down hills to get to El Palmito, which is the border of Durango and Sinaloa. There, we will have breakfast. Plants in the area typically have large responses to the changing climate with each season. Monsoon season is the largest of these effects, with leaf buds following only a few months after the rains begin. Flowering season occurs in the months preceding the rains around July. We're getting ready to go downhill for the last 7 kilometers. We have made it to El Palmito and we have hit the 200-kilometer mark. The town of El Palmito is located in the municipality of Concordia in the state of Sinaloa, and it's at 1,911 meters of altitude.
Estoy haciendo tortillas ahorita, tortilla de maíz criollo.
Yo me llamo Cristina.
Aquí del Palmito.
Del Palmito.
¿Toda la vida?
Toda la vida.
One of my routines when coming to El Palmito is visit Tacos El Venado when they have the best machaca. Time to get to Loberas, which is 15 kilometers from there, and it's the highest point, and from there we'll start going downhill for about 40 kilometers. Once we start pedaling, we start to enjoy all the beauty the Sierra Madre has to offer. This has been a very wet season, and therefore there's been a lot of landslides. We're getting closer to Loberas, and we're so excited for the big downhill. And here we go. We think it's over. Downhill keeps going and going. We're only 30 kilometers from Concordia. This is the peak flowering season, with plants flowering throughout the rainy months due to the moisture in the area. Fruit is ripe and everything is so green since the beginning of the rains. Insects and life in general is very abundant here.
¿Y cuánto tiempo entrenó para esto?
2 meses.
¿Nunca había rodado o qué?
Sí, tengo 1 año.
Pero es la primera vez que lo hace.
Sí, acá para Mazatlán, sí.
Ok. De nueva cuenta, nos tocó un excelente clima. Hace 1 mes que vine con los espartanos y el clima estaba excelente. Y hoy, de igual manera, está igual o mejor.
During this month of October, it's very hot and humid around this area, but today we are so fortunate to have had such a wonderful climate. Being cloudy and foggy makes it very enjoyable, and the mind starts to wander among all this beauty. And to top it off, we hear the loud song of the cicadas.
Ese sonido de las chicharras.
What an enormous privilege to be around here.
Aquí es un paisaje ya selvático. La humedad está al 100%. Y escuchen eso.
Look deep into nature, and then you will understand everything better.
Ya llegamos, Glenn. Ya llegamos a Concordia.
¡Pedal biker! ¡Yeah!
After Concordia, there's 22 more kilometers before getting to Villa Unión.
Bien.
Once I got to Concordia, I was very hungry and decided to stop at a little restaurant for gorditas. The group I was following continued without me, so I decided to follow the Correcaminos bike team all the way to the Union, where I would meet pedal bikers again. We get more perfect weather and even rain.
¿Qué pasó allá?
Sun rays start to show and we start feeling the heat. I say bye to them and continued towards where the pedal bikers will be resting. We're only now 25 kilometers from reaching our goal. the last 20 kilometers are getting more difficult because the sun's getting hotter. I see people struggling before me, but they don't give up. We finally entered the old town area of Mazatlán and ride through its narrow streets. And then, there it is. We make it to the Malecón. Only 10 more kilometers to go. Doing this challenge and seeing these new cyclists do the impossible to make it all the way here makes me very proud and reminds me that there is no impossible when you set your mind to a specific goal. you.